We have a very special birthday episode this week.
Hooray.
Happy birthday, Josh. For your birthday, we got you a crumbling democracy.
This is Hoot and Holler, a podcast about the Ozarks.
The first person who wished me a happy birthday, other than friends overseas when it was my birthday early there, was I got an email from my landlord wishing me a happy birthday, which
the landlord who
was better than what
threatening to evict you
right.
a couple of weeks ago.
Right, I thought it was going to be another threat, which is a better bait and switch than when I got a letter from the IRS the other day that I was like, my check is here, and then it was a letter that said I still owed some taxes from last year.
Oh, God, that sucks.
The only birthday cards I ever get are like from the dentist and stuff.
No, right. A realtor that I bought a house from years and years ago still sends me them.
I think Chewy sends me a birthday card because I ordered dog biscuits once. So
I have a birthday card from my parents to read that I'm sure you will all find very funny. So
I am so excited for this.
It will not disappoint. So on the front, there's a cake platter, but the cake is all gone, and it says, "The Democrats took away your birthday cake." and inside it says, "They sliced it up and gave it to people who aren't fortunate enough to have a birthday today." And then my mom wrote, "Ha ha, this is just a joke!" Exclamation mark. Nope. No political comments, please.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that is that birthday cakes are typically meant to be shared.
Exactly. I saw someone once try to own AOC with this, and I think she responded like, "You're supposed to share your birthday cake."
Yeah. More than likely, who actually got your birthday cake? It was probably Tom Cotton.
Oh God.
That's why
That's who your parents probably gave.
That's why Tom Cotton eats entire birthday cakes by himself, is to own the libs.
He's just got to show that he is not going to share a single slice of his cake with anyone.
Well, you know who won't be celebrating a birthday sometime in the future?
Is it my gift? I was going to say my gift today from God of killing Phil Spector.
Oh wait, Phil Spector died?
Yeah. Thank you, Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sad. I just didn't know this had happened. I have been uncharacteristically offline this morning. So what a day.
Well, I actually wasn't talking about Phil Spector. I was talking about America.
Oh yeah, I think this is the libs love to say this is the season finale.
I saw today that there were 2 people arrested near the Capitol. One was a man who had some guns and a bunch of ammunition, and another one was a woman who was trying to get past the National Guard line with a militia challenge coin, is what I saw. But I don't know what that is.
Well, I'm going to say the militia challenge is their version of the ice bucket challenge. It's sneak in and get into the inauguration. You don't have to do anything. Just take a selfie of you in there.
I guess at this point, maybe I'm not trying to flex here, but I guess maybe I'm just not delusional enough. Like, what do they what do they actually think that they are going to accomplish at this point, like this late in the game? Like, this is, like, you have a bridesmaid's dress that maybe you need to lose a few pounds for, and you're, like, 3 days before the wedding, like, I don't think skipping lunch is gonna help,
I mean, I feel what we're left with...
Buying one of those...
Go ahead, Josh.
Sorry. I was going to say buying one of those, like, weight loss books called, like, Lose 20 Pounds in 12 Hours.
Yeah.
Drinking lemon water and cayenne pepper because Beyonce did it.
Yeah. I just, that is, like, I have been seeing some takes, mostly just reposted from people who are like, oh, this is part of the plan, this is part of the plan, this is part of the plan, but, like...
You gotta trust it.
Yeah, is it part of the plan, you guys? So, that's just been, like, baffling me all week.
Well...
The thing is, they have shut down the city. They just have National Guard there, shutting everything down. It's going to be very difficult for you to do an insurrection at this point.
It's going to be very difficult, but...
It would have to be a lone wolf, which I don't put it past any of them.
They're still going to try. I don't think that they're going to be able to do anything on the 20th, but they're definitely going to try. But there's no way that, the National Guard and the Capitol Police will be embarrassed like that again.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that they've said repeatedly that they're going to be at all 50 state houses. And so... Yeah,
that's kind of what... I think in terms of like what I actually think is going to happen is I think we're going to see more things happening at like in the state capitals than actually in DC.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which we can get into that a little bit later, but that's like I agree that I think that the options like in DC proper at this point are effectively shut down because the city's just almost under martial law at this point.
And earlier this week there was a bomb threat at the Virginia State House. They had to clear the area. That was a day or two ago. But I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
50... And if these people, if they had any, like, brains, which I don't know that they do, and if you're listening to this, militias, I'm just kidding. And I don't advocate this, but they wouldn't do it on the 20th. Like they would wait later when there's less security to enact violence, which is what I think the real problem will be because they're not much like Benghazi. It ain't going away.
And I also think that if they were smart, they would hit infrastructure or something while everyone's attention is turned to the state houses. Not to give any ideas to our militia members that listen to the show.
Hey, Bundy boys.
All those state houses, at least in one of them, something bad's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A lot of chances there.
I do feel like these, for the most part, a lot of people, the Stop the Steal people, are demoralized at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like for any kind of mass movement from them.
Oh, there's a lot of demoralization, but then there's also, that means that what we're left with are the ones who are not going to back down. And with something like Q, they've obviously made complete asses out of themselves. And so you are faced with a choice where either you admit you were wrong or you double down on the assholery. And for a lot of people...
I have been there in my life.
Haven't we all?
I do
For
believe...
a lot of people, that's going to be the easiest thing to do, is to double down.
I do believe that in like the QAnon handbook, there's no giving up. There's only doubling down. Like that's the only. I've never seen so far. I have not seen anybody who has like gotten into Q and then been like, maybe I was just going through it online. It just gets worse every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to read a Trump quote from an Axios story this morning, just because anytime I get a glimpse into what's going on in the Oval right now, I'm just delighted. So it says, in conversations in the Oval Office, Trump would occasionally slip and seem to acknowledge that he lost, saying, "Can you believe I lost to that fucking guy? That fucking corpse?"
That fucking corpse.
he's right. How did you lose to him, bro?
Yeah, Donnie Boy, you should be ashamed.
It's
that
embarrassing.
Should have been his concession speech should have just been walking out there and saying that and then walking off.
Somebody today, it reposted in my Twitter timeline that when he found out that RBG died, with Tiny Dancer playing in the background. A
classic
that's one
video.
of my favorite things. There is nothing funnier than that.
There really isn't. God.
It was almost worse losing the Supreme Court in RBG just for that.
Yeah. I did want to give an update on Richard Barnett, the Capitol rioter who grabbed the letter from Nancy Pelosi's office. He
took a cool picture of himself with his foot on her desk.
Yes,
also.
super cool. He is from Gravette, Arkansas, which is right up the road from me. He was given bail initially. He was set on a $5,000 bail, and he was going to be let out of jail, which seems like the great thing to do with somebody who stormed into the Capitol to overturn an election, is to let them go right before, the transition of power.
Yeah, $5,000 bail is, they could have that raised in an hour.
Right.
The Assistant U.S. Attorney Kim Harris said if Barnett will travel across the country and engage in this level of criminal behavior because he believes he is right and it is the Electoral College that is wrong, what would deter him? She said arguing against the original decision to grant the bail. They ended up reversing that. A federal judge ended up reversing it, and he has to remain in jail, and they are taking him to Washington, D.C. to, I guess, await trial or more formal charges. So things are not looking good up Big O's way.
Do you know what kind of sentence he's facing?
He's facing up to 11 years in jail, I believe. Let me see if this says it. He's facing charges of unlawfully entering the U.S. Capitol with a stun gun during the day of the rioting on the Capitol that left at least 5 dead. Well, we knew that. But yeah, I believe I read somewhere that it was up at 11 years. So not good.
I've got to give a quick update on my man Baked Alaska.
Oh,
they got him.
I've been waiting for this one.
It turns out that you should not do a 30-minute live stream of yourself doing federal crimes. Isn't that also what Tekashi 6ix9ine got caught for? He was,
but I think
live streaming, yeah, just don't record your
guys,
crimes.
It's super easy.
It's
Again,
it's committing crime
Bundy
101.
boys.
Yeah.
You're right.
I used to, I'm going to age myself here. Back in the days of Vine, I used to follow Baked Alaska because his content was so cringy and stupid that I thought it was like a joke. And then one day I realized, I was like, oh no, he's serious. I'm following a Nazi on Vine. And so I stopped doing that. So I do want to clear my name and also out myself as a dumbass.
So, how much time is Mr. Alaska facing?
I am not sure. I didn't see. It wasn't in the story that I read.
He flipped on a bunch of people and was turned into an informant. What, didn't he? I think that's what I read.
He would in a second because he is. I mean, he has moved from being a vice journalist to Milo's agent to a Nazi stormtrooper. Like,
I didn't realize he was a vice journalist.
yeah. I mean, I'm using journalist here extremely, like, in quotes. Also, wait, and also struggle rapper was the
He
second
loves
step.
Cool.
our cops.
Yeah. He did.
Yeah.
He's probably just there in the interrogation room saying, "Go on YouTube, look at my video, we're on the same side."
It is hilarious
But
how
that is-
fast he flipped, though.
Right. So, as did Tekashi 6ix9ine.
And that's the problem that they're going to run into with all of their American individualism.
Yes.
At least we have solidarity on our side.
Yeah. I do think it's funny to watch a bunch of people like trying to help the FBI
Yeah.
on Twitter. And
Right, yeah.
somebody pointed out, they were like, the FBI has like a $9 billion budget. Like, they don't need your help, Twitter sleuths. Like, Jesus.
But all of these people put videos of themselves
Yeah.
unmasked. They don't need your help at all. What are you doing?
I was scrolling through this article right now on Mr. Alaska. Because I was trying to see if it said how much time he was facing. It didn't. The end of the article just says, in a 2017 interview with Business Insider, Gwinnett said he was given the nickname Baked Alaska because he is from Alaska and that he smoked marijuana at the time. So. Some real hard-hitting journalism here.
I thought it was because he
I'm
loved
going to-
flaming desserts.
Yeah.
Silly me.
This is funny. FBI Special Agent Nicole Miller said in an affidavit filed in the case that Gwinnett streamed live for about 27 minutes from inside the Capitol and could be heard encouraging other protesters not to leave, cursing and saying, "I'm staying, 1776 baby, and I won't leave, guys, don't worry." What a fucking dork.
How dumb
see-
do you have to be?
Did you see the real estate agent named like Jenna
From
something?
Dallas?
Who?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that
Who-
flew in on the jet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who screamed, "Jenna Smith"? That I don't know if that's her name. Jenna Smith is in the or going into the Capitol. Hire Jenna Smith as your realtor. And then she released a video, like the Dallas news went and interviewed her at her house, and she was saying, "I deserve to be pardoned by Mr. Trump." I was just following orders, but just like this completely, just angry, like disgusted, entitled. I deserve this.
Yeah, it was some prime viewing. I am just amazed that I really think a lot of these people thought, well, you know, we support the cops, we back the blue. They're not going to arrest us for storming the Like, I genuinely think that they thought, oh yeah, we'll just storm the Capitol and just like go back home to Dallas.
I think a lot of them thought that the cops were going to join them. Like,
Yeah.
because they, I mean,
And they did.
came there with their.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
some cases.
they weren't wrong
Kinda did.
in some of that. I think.
Well, I think what we see is because obviously there was a lot of people who got in to the Capitol and had no idea what to do next. So they were, just wandering around making assholes of themselves. But that provides cover for the people who went in there with a plan to
Right.
take hostages, hang Mike Pence, whatever. And so, of course, those people wouldn't be let in on the big plan,
Yeah.
but they do provide a nice
Right.
cover of confusion.
There were a lot of people there that were just clowns.
Mm-hmm.
And like the guy in Nancy Pelosi's office, he didn't know what to do. He was I sincerely doubt he was there to kill someone. He was there to go in and like shake his fist and stop the steal. But I don't think there was a larger plan for a lot of these people beyond that.
I saw a video today of some people who got onto the Senate floor, and they were rifling through some documents and like taking photos of them, ripping pages out or whatever. And one of them says, yeah, get that. Ted Cruz would want us to have this.
Ted Cruz has no emotions. He doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't feel happiness in any form.
He doesn't even enjoy birthday cake, I bet.
Imagine trying to win Ted Cruz's approval.
Like, damn, guys will break, like, what is it? Guys will break into the Capitol instead of going to therapy, deal with their dad issues, I swear. Yeah, I can't imagine, and that's a good point. Like, I can't imagine doing all of this and wanting the approval of Ted Cruz, who might be, honest to God, the most unlikable person in the country.
Yeah. And so,
look, I may do some light crime to try to get AOC to notice me, okay? But
and that makes and that would kind of make sense. She's cool, you know. She's online. She seems like she wouldn't behead your dog. Ted Cruz does not give me any of those feelings, you know.
And when I say impress her, I'm not talking about in the way that one would try to impress Jodie Foster. I'm not going that far.
That is comforting, Joshua. I'm glad to clear that up.
I might throw a rock through a window. That's about it.
So, any more predictions for the coming week?
I think my biggest prediction, I think, is that Trump is going to make a huge ass out of himself on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to try to throw himself like a goodbye party, and not that many people are going to go, and it's going to be really sad and really hilarious. So
it's going to be him and Stephen Miller in a room wearing birthday hats with a cake.
I read that
the Democrats would have already given the cake away.
I read that he asked for like a full military send-off, and they said no. And
God, I hope that's true.
So he has something planned at some fort. I'm not sure which fort.
Is it?
But yeah, during the inauguration itself, he's going to be doing that, and then he's going to Mar-a-Lago. Which it's
where hopefully he's never
hopefully
heard
one
from
of those
again.
alligator gets him.
It sounds like he's in quite a bit of financial trouble. Deutsche Bank cut ties with him, and I read something that a bunch of his assets could be seized, including Mar-a-Lago. That might be the final straw if they take Mar-a-Lago.
That's the best outcome.
We might just,
because I do think he wants to start that media company, but motherfucker broke.
Here's what I will say. Well, and one, I think he could definitely get investors in the media company because it would be a hit. And I think the mistake maybe in taking him off all these platforms is now he probably wasn't going to start a media company before. It was just kind of all talk. But now that he has no outlet to like shit out his thoughts all day, he probably will.
Right. He has no other option but to start a media company.
Oh, God.
Well, beyond the week, I don't know. What is the next year going to look like?
You know, it's too bleak, honestly, sometimes to think about. I don't see things with the virus turning around as quickly as we're hoping. I think we're gonna still. I think we've talked it to death, but we're gonna see the continued fallout from the eviction crisis. We're gonna see the fallout from the unemployment crisis. I think where things are going to get darker, and it seems impossible that could happen, but not good, dog.
Yeah, I think we're in for a rough next, 3 or 4 months on the virus front.
Yeah.
With the new strains and everything.
Right. And 3 or 4 months, I feel like, is optimistic.
If there's anything this podcast is, we're a bunch of optimists.
I think as far as the violence goes, my prediction is that we see increasing localized incidents of terroristic violence. And as Pat said last week, we should shy away from using the word terroristic because it will be used against us. But I think more and more we're because these people aren't going away. We keep saying this. They've gone.
What my hope.
Go ahead.
I was going to say what my hope has always been, and the guys running into the Capitol kind of caused me to think I'm wrong, is that ultimately Americans don't actually. They just want comfort. They don't actually have the stomach for like a civil war or civil unrest. But I don't really think that anymore.
Well, I don't know. Empires have age limits, No empire lasts forever, and this one is on its deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, do either of you follow Robert Evans?
The dead movie producer?
No.
Okay. I've seen the kid stays in the picture.
He reports on the ground for Bellingcat. He's based out of Portland, but he's a podcaster also. He has several podcasts. Mm-hmm. But one that he has, a standalone, is called It Could Happen Here. And I highly, highly recommend it because he outlines several different scenarios in which a new American Civil War could come about. And he breaks it down in a pretty simple way that highlights how very close we are to this. So definitely worth a listen.
Yeah. Okay, I'll check it out.
Just a fun, light.
just something fun to listen to while you're cooking dinner.
Moving on from doom scrolling to doom listening. So, it's the natural progression.
Can I ask something about the stimulus checks?
Yes.
So, I want to say I didn't weigh into the $600, $1,400 versus $600, $2,000.
God.
Because my understanding was it was always just $1,400 and not another $2,000.
Really?
Yes. I thought there was no chance they were going to give us $2,000 more dollars.
Well, when he literally said $2,000 checks will be in the mail to you.
Yeah.
Right.
I figured that's what he meant.
Biden said that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, the only thing I saw was a Warnock ad that said, vote Warnock for $2,000 checks or something like that.
Yeah. He literally bribed the voters of Georgia.
And it worked. So congratulations. That's a good strategy. Give people something that they need, and they'll vote for you.
But then take it back at the last minute because that works out well every time.
I love that they are willing to risk basically everything over $600. I'm like, are you motherfuckers kidding us? Well, I know we said
Again,
2000.
the audacity. I feel like I say this all the time. The audacity. And it's really because we just put up with it,
Yeah.
They know that
Right.
we'll complain about it online, but we're not going to storm the Capitol or anything.
Look, they didn't really have any reason, a practical reason for storming the Capitol, because they were trying to overturn an election that Trump lost by a lot. But us storming the Capitol for $600, I mean, there's a practical reason to do it.
Yeah, but what else new? Biden's a fucking liar.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I know. I keep seeing, because I do have liberals that I do love and are my friends and my family, and I just wonder sometimes where they get this idea that just a switch is going to flip on Wednesday and things are going to be fine. And I'm like, damn, y'all, I just do not have the needed brain chemicals anymore to just think that, oh yeah, I mean, Joe Biden, noted progressive Joe Biden, is going to make things better for people in this country when a lot of people are suffering. I don't need...
thing that... sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't need a president who, tweets, oh, we're going to get America back on track. Hey, motherfucker, that's literally your job. Stop tweeting about it. Get to work.
I will say the thing that he is doing the first week that's good, which obviously you have to do, is basically just turn over all the ridiculous executive orders from Trump, which, I mean, we've given the presidency too much power anyway, but he did lay out all of these executive orders, like the Muslim ban and things like that, that he is going to...
And a bunch of environmental ones.
Yeah, yeah, and getting back in the Paris Agreement and stuff like that, which is, I mean, not enough, but is good.
Yeah,
as far as it goes. And they at least do have the $15 minimum wage as at least as a starting point of what they're going to in the budget proposal, right?
I guess, but I mean that started. We've been asking for that for 10 years. That it's completely out of date at this point. $15 is not nearly enough.
Yeah, $15 is what somebody figured. It was $31,000 a year. I've lived on that, and I live in a place with lower, a lower cost of living than nationally, but in the Ozarks, it's one of the higher ones. And it's not easy. $31,000 is not a lot of money a year.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I live on much less than that every year.
Yeah, it's. You got to talk to Googie about that.
I'm cash poor, but book rich.
That's
all of my money is tied up in all of these fucking books.
Rare, antique books. Sell them all to relics.
How many copies of 1984 have you sold the last 2 weeks, Josh?
So I think I've sold 5. Because I ordered 7.
Thinking ahead, I love it.
Because I was like, maybe everyone has already they read it the last time around that we did this, but no, they didn't.
What about Kafka? Did you get the Metamorphosis in there?
Yeah, I actually do have it. I ordered some new ones of that a while ago. I mean, when Trump won, I could sell It Can't Happen Here and 1984, and all of the Brave New, just all of the dystopian stuff, because everyone was like, this is the end.
We're just getting started.
Yeah.
Back to the minimum wage, though, and $15 is no longer enough. And even with reversing all of the executive orders, yeah, that's good. I'm glad he's going to do that. But that's, those are half measures. They're not going to go nearly far enough to get what we need. And then Democrats will be able to point to, well, look what we've done. We overturned all of those EOs. What more do you want from us?
Yeah, y'all have a fucking majority in both the houses and you have the White House. I expect a lot.
Yeah.
It's literally your job.
I don't even consider them as having the majority because Joe Manchin's in there.
God.
Although he did discuss the other night using the 14th Amendment to get rid of Hawley.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If he's open to that, like, I could turn around on Joe pretty quickly and start loving him. I'd compliment his haircut.
Hawley canceled again this weekend from the hotels in Orlando. His fundraiser got canceled.
Why is somebody in Missouri... One second here. Why is somebody in Missouri having a fundraiser in Florida? Kind of seems like maybe you should be raising that money in your home state, bud.
Yeah, and I saw
that would
somebody...
require you... That would require you to be in Missouri, so I understand how that would be hard for you, Josh. Thoughts and prayers.
I saw somebody say, if he'd held it in Missouri, Bass Pro, any of Johnny Morris's properties would have happily hosted him without canceling.
Do it at C of O. Like, I'm sure they'd let you
absolutely
come to a fundraiser.
My dad saw I think it was Newt Gingrich at C of O one time. Thankfully, I didn't have to go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another Hawley.
Imagine getting excited for Newt.
No, I can't. Who goes by Newt?
Who's named Newt? It's weird. The other, Hawley put out a statement this week where he was basically that classic Hawley thing that I keep pointing out where he just speaks out of both sides of his mouth. And, he was like, oh, of course I condemn the violence. And all I was doing was fighting for democracy.
Well, Josh, it came across very different.
I was fighting for people who believed in disinformation and I had helped feed them.
So what do you think is going to happen with the Republican Party over the next 2-4 years?
Well, one thing is they've got a new caucus of freaks in the House.
Yeah.
We got Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've got who was the guy from North Carolina?
I don't know.
Oh, Madison.
Marshall? Madison. Yeah. Madison, like Cartwheel or something. I forget. And then the other woman from Colorado, I want to say.
Boebert?
Oh, yeah.
Lauren Boebert?
Yeah. I mean, just they have whatever the opposite of the squad is, of just like QAnon psychopaths in there now. And I would have said Dan Crenshaw is a member, but he sold out Trump. He put out a statement denying Trump. So
we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's the thing. They can just go back and forth as much as they want.
He's going to get primaried by someone crazier now.
Well, you think there's some freaks in there now. There are going to be some freaks that run in 22.
It's the way the Tea Party people replaced like the older establishment people, except now they've moved so much further to the right into paranoia land that the people who are going to primary, which I actually want to talk about one of these people, is now a good time to talk about the guy who wants to primary Billy Long?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So it's with a heavy heart that I tell everyone we have a new type of guy on our hands.
A new primary
no.
character.
And, right, yeah. Not one bit excited about this. And he also owns a business that I could take a paper airplane on a modestly windy day and toss and hit his business with my paper airplane. His name is Eric Rivas, and he is running to the right of Billy Long.
Incredible.
Yeah. So he's a chiropractor and wellness guy who whines about the mask ordinance a lot, which is a type of anti-vax. Like, I'm not saying he's an anti-vax guy.
Oh, he is.
But right. No, I know. He's never said it explicitly. Actually, he keeps, in his posts on his 4-state rep page, keeps saying to people, would you get the vaccine? Like that kind of thing. And at one point he said, if you could get $1,600 in stimulus in exchange for taking the vaccine, would you do it? And then start talking about how the government was bribing you. It's just making up a scenario that is not offered to get mad about. Let's see. So he was extremely mad about the mask ordinance in Springfield passing. And he said, I have contacted the Freedom Foundation for help with this ordinance. This is an overreach of their authority, and to place penalties on someone for not wearing a face covering.
Did he speak at council meeting?
I couldn't find anything where he was, because he shares a lot of videos of himself. So if he did, it would have been all over there. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to chronologically go through some of his posts here. So this, I went way back on his page today. He defended James River back when they had their big super spreader Christmas show.
Of course.
And in the comments he said, please share. Facebook has limited my ability to reach out with my posts. Which I'm going to start posting in the comments of my store posts when of cat photos when I don't get enough likes. He got 41 shares on that one.
Get that engagement.
Right. Okay, so January 2nd, I'm just going to read this line because it made me laugh. While visiting the Hall of Presidents at Disney World, period. A very powerful statement from George Washington was read.
No, don't.
Having my mind blown by the animatronic George Washington.
I can't.
So I'm putting him. I'm putting him strongly in the camp of dumb guy. You know.
Yeah, I think he might be the president of that camp.
Well, no, we've got a guy down in Branson cutting hair that.
Oh yeah.
that maintains the crown. Okay, so he made a vacation video in Florida, and he says, I plan to take the fight to their doorstep. So he was going to Florida and then coming back to Missouri and then driving to go to the Stop the Steal rally. So he was there.
Oh.
And January 4th, he tweeted, maybe Mike Pence is not the man we think. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Shit.
Okay, so he also said, I will begin moving over to Parler. Come over to a platform that doesn't violate your First Amendment rights. He has not posted a single day on Facebook since saying that. Like, they're all so full of shit.
And then Parler went down.
Right, yeah. He doesn't get any, like, engagement on, like, on Twitter. I think he has, like, 26 followers or something like that. Which I guess is just like big tech censorship that no one wants to follow my bad tweets.
Obviously.
Which I believe about me. Like, everyone who isn't following me on there is censoring me.
But so has he announced he is running?
Yes, yeah, it's official.
Cool.
Like, he already had, hold on, I've got to go down. He had a campaign event, a raffle for a 2-night stay at the luxurious Lake Taneycomo front property. But that was last summer. So what got him into running was the COVID stuff because it's hurting small businesses. That's his thing. I was trying to figure out what his problem with Billy Long is. You know, like, what is his angle in running against Billy Long? Because part of it was he was complaining that Billy wasn't forceful enough coming out to overturn the election.
Yeah, Billy pussed out a little bit there.
Yeah, he really did.
He still signed it, though.
Rolled in last minute. Yeah, exactly. But he wasn't like Tommy Tuberville just being the first one out of the gate for the Senate, or I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene that was the first one just like shouting, "I object" before she was even like sworn in. But here's my favorite post. He wrote, "I will post a picture since I am being censored," but the C is in parentheses, so I don't know what that is. But so he says, "Do we remember Billy Long breaking out into auctioneer mode on the House floor? Well, tell me why he interrupted this journalist for calling out Jack Dorsey. She is pointing out the censoring of the Republicans and Trump. Is he helping big tech?" And then he links to a parlor of Laura Loomer. Yes, noted journalist Laura Loomer.
So
Laura Loomer,
he's going after Billy for being too hard on Laura Loomer. This is his platform.
Right.
Oh my God.
Laura Loomer, who I assume most people don't know who she is because she's been banned from every site. She's been kicked, like Uber and Lyft have banned her because she was racist to a Middle Eastern driver. She's the one that chained herself to the Twitter headquarters and started screaming for her account back. Just one of the most asinine figures out there. She ran for Congress in Florida and got destroyed.
Oh, I forgot about that.
The only thing she's not banned from is being the thing you see in the corner when you have sleep paralysis.
So he was at the rally, and he wasn't one of the people that stormed the Capitol because, as far as I can tell, he's just kind of he's not like a violent, like, uprising guy. He's someone that was there because I think he's probably a dumb guy, was there to stop the steal.
Well, if he's a wellness guy, then, he's probably into some vibes.
Here's the quote from his video that should tell you all you need to know about him. "We're going to have around 10 million people here today." And then he follows it up with, "Right now it's fairly light, but we're packing in here."
10 million people.
No conception of how big 10 million. You probably read that in some Facebook group where 10 million people were like going.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's like when I have a party at the bookstore and like 120 people say going. I'm not like 120 people are coming. I'm like maybe 20.
Yeah.
I'd estimate there are about 500 people in bookmarks right now.
And so the way he came onto my radar is people started like sharing his stuff and saying, this guy is trying to run for like state rep, and he was at this rally that turned into a killing scene. And I think he deleted a lot of the comments from people in opposition because I was looking for him today. But he said, "Everyone posting here sure has a lot to say without knowing who I am. If you would like to have a real conversation, please come by."
Only God can judge me.
He does seem like someone who part of what his platform will be is Billy Long just avoids conversations with local, like most of the Washington guys, like Hawley, just kind of avoids, like Billy Long doesn't debate here. He doesn't have town halls. And so this guy, you can just like probably hang out with him on his his front yard, and he'll talk to you and try to convince you to vote for him.
Well, I think this is what we're going to see all over the country is replacing nothing guys like Billy Long, who have been in office for our entire lives, who do absolutely nothing. They're just placeholders, basically. And these nut jobs are going to primary them and probably win in a lot of cases.
Yes, I would say if you are going to run to the right of Billy Long, the way to do it is to criticize him for not being available, not interacting with your district, and being corrupt, which he also did, and for hurting Laura Loomer's feelings. Like, very unfair of Billy. And a thing that I think a lot of people in the Ozarks probably my top issue is how my representatives have treated Laura Loomer. So,
all of the Laura Loomer stands in the Ozarks are going to be fired up.
There was a Laura Loomer shirt that she was selling that said, like, Loomered. That I wanted to own one, but I refused to give money to, to Laura Loomer. Okay, so last thing is, let's see. This was his last post, so I guess he doesn't post every day, but he released a video on the 13th to respond to all of the negative feedback he's been getting since going to a rally that ended in like a woman getting shot and a policeman being beaten and Mike Pence being threatened with hanging. He started by doing the conservative thing. The attacks on me and my family and my beliefs, just I'm being treated very unfairly. That kind of thing. Like, I'm a victim now.
The Holly thing. The same thing Holly did.
Right, yeah. He never said canceled, though. I was surprised. But in most of his videos, he's just kind of not cheery-ish, like kind of just like happy-go-lucky. In this one, it was so close to the Lost Boys guy. It kind of looked like he was about to cry, but not really. He wasn't drinking, so he didn't have those glassy eyes that our himbo had. But he's looking very solemn, and the point of his video is we need to come together and find unity to move forward. And so he just keeps talking about finding that unity, doing one kind act every day for your neighbor.
I'm telling he's got the vibes. He's vibing.
Yeah. He talks about just we need to start shaking hands and saying good morning. One, do not shake hands. We're not supposed to be touching, dummy. But so yeah, it was more of a Mr. Rogers kind of. We just need to care about each other in our community, and so that's his angle. And that was kind of most of his stuff before was kind of like complaining about small businesses being shut down and the community being hurt and that kind of thing. So, which is a problem, but his solution is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, people are being affected, but it's because of people like you who are telling people that this is fake, or that it's not that serious, or that we just need to reopen everything. And masks are stupid.
Right. The solution is for your government to pay everyone to stay home until we get it under control. But yeah. I don't want a handout. I want to die for my money.
Right.
Well, two things. First being, sounds like an even bigger reason for Alf to jump in the race.
Absolutely.
I'm going to run to his right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to keep running further and further to the right as more people.
And the second thing is, with as close as you are, can you, like, are there any shared ducts Can you like put some smelly trash? Pump some smelly trash into his building.
I think that would just hurt the Indian restaurant that's near us. If I could do the thing they do in Dirty Work, where I sneak in there and hide some fish in the vents.
I have some dirty diapers I could lend you.
Yeah, perfect. Speaking of dirty diapers, this is that has nothing to do with anything. My first job was working as a church janitor at my dad's church, but I refused to clean. I just kept not cleaning the nursery because I didn't want to mess with dirty diapers, and I got fired because I didn't. I didn't change their trash for like 2 weeks. I mean, that's what you get when you have a 14-year-old that you've hired to be the maintenance, or not the maintenance guy, but the custodian.
I'm imagining you like in a jumpsuit while you're cleaning the church, Josh, and it's incredibly cute.
I was just walking around pushing a vacuum and listening to the Smashing Pumpkins. That's how it's going.
Hell yeah. AKA what I call Thursday, 2 p.m.
But I had this in a Discman, so it skipped the entire time because I was like walking with it on my hip.
Oh, man. You got to get the one with the anti-skip technology. It was a little bit more, but it was worth it.
Right now.
Yeah, I think mine had the anti-skip.
Yeah, mine had to because we lived on a dirt road and I would listen to it when we were on the bus. So it was necessity.
Well, Eric is having a meet and greet next Sunday, and I'm really tempted to go, but I also know that he is someone who is just actively trying to spread the virus. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I've seen photos of his events, or at least like him talking to people, and none of them ever are wearing masks. So
yeah, not worth getting COVID for.
Yeah,
I am hoping that the virus gets under control enough so that next year I can go to some conservative campaign events, because I really want to cover some conservative campaign events.
Yeah.
I've always loved going. Like, I went to a Trump event and it was a blast. a blast in the way that these just observing what's going on.
Yeah, the people watching.
Yeah. Which I would have been like Ariel Pink and John Mouse.
Yeah.
If they had just said we were just here to check it out, I would be like, oh, I get that.
I buy that.
Like, that makes sense to me, because I would enjoy being there and just like looking around.
Yeah, that shit's funny.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about different platforms that conservatives are moving to now that Parler is down, the great Twitter, Facebook purge has happened.
I'll tell you one. It's called a Clout Hub.
Who would name? Oh, who would come up with that name? Yeah, there's Clout Hub. There's Gab, which I read. I don't remember.
That's an old Nazi one, right?
Oh, what?
They've been around for a while for Nazis.
Yeah. So that's what they already have, the infrastructure. And I saw, I don't know what day it was. It might have been the day or the day after Trump got kicked off of Twitter. They had a 758% increase in signups. So Gab is a big one. There's MeWe.
Oh,
I can't take that one seriously with the name.
We're not doing MeWe. We're just simply not going to allow that. And then there's also
I can't get angry yelling about MeWe being like the Nazis are on MeWe.
I refuse. I will not speak that. We will never speak that name again on the show. And there's also, what is it? Is it Zello? The walkie-talkie app.
Oh, okay.
I was actually listening to On the Media today, a podcast I listened to, and they did a Zello story last year about Nazis organizing because it's a walkie-talkie thing. Like they have groups and they can talk back walkie-talkie style. But so some of their reporters were monitoring the walkie-talkie chat during the Capitol. And so there's a lot of Nazi organizing going on there. I guess my point in bringing this up is that they haven't disappeared.
Right. They're just on CB radios now, I guess.
Yeah. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. I shouldn't have to say this.
Right, yeah. One quick thing about Gab is Gab posts on Twitter, and Gab is their like tagline is with a free speech app, but they limit their tweets so no one can respond.
I saw some memes they made going around this week that were just dumb.
There was one that made no sense with Bernie Sanders. Like they were calling him like look at this pussy, and it was the photo of him being dragged off during like civil rights.
Yeah,
like it made no sense.
And there was another one with like a 1950s family, and the dad is reaching for his children, and it was like, look at what they stole from us, or something. I don't know. No sense at all. I don't know. I guess we'll find out what happens in the next few days.
Sure, will all be good. Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, I am curious to see what really does take off, though. Like, kind of as the next, conservative echo chamber. Because it is inevitably going to turn into a white supremacy echo chamber, as most conservative kind of spaces like that tend to do. I know when they kicked, was it Milo, whatever, off of, his Twitter, Facebook, everything, he ended up like having to go like deep underground, and he's like broke now. So I do wonder what the trajectory.
He was never heard from again.
Yeah, thank God. I do wonder what like the trajectory of like this movement is gonna be, because I think it's like a very much like a very modern problem, and like I'm not sad by any means that white supremacists, neo-Nazis are being kicked or being deplatformed. That's not it at all. I'm just wondering like where are they gonna go to, and I think that's gonna be, I don't want to say interesting to see, but I think that might be the best word for it. So,
yeah,
right. Like I had completely forgotten about Baked Alaska because he had been kicked off all these off every platform, right? And who do I see?
Yeah.
Who do I see? Like in the Capitol, it's Baked Alaska. So he was planning this and organizing somewhere, which I think was on like. Not YouTube, but like some kind of video app that's kind of off the grid. So they are somewhere and they're communicating. So
well, and there's also Telegram. I think they're communicating on there a lot.
Oh yeah, I think that's where.
Yeah,
that's
where Milo went,
and that's where he was.
Oh,
that's where he was posting through it about being broke. When his book deal got canceled, I think that might be my favorite thing that happens when people do something or say something or a combination of the both, and they get their book deal canceled, and you're like, and like honestly, and like with Holly, it's hilarious to me to think that did anybody give a shit like of what Josh Hawley had to write about, like.
Yeah, who was going to read that book?
Yeah,
it would have sold a lot of books to like Republican dark money groups that buy up like Janine Pirro's book or whoever to make them bestsellers.
Yeah.
But they just sit in it's like how Don Jr.'s terrible books become bestsellers. No one actually wants to buy them. They just sit in boxes in some room somewhere.
That's I don't like that.
Or sometimes what they'll do is you get one free when you donate $25 to the campaign. So it's really just campaign, or maybe more than 25, like $50, you get a free book. So you're selling a book that way. So you're kind of laundering money because he gets paid for the book being sold, and he also gets the donation.
Yeah.
Tell us more book secrets, Josh.
Yeah.
I have a $80,000 copy of, I forget what Relics sold.
All of that kind of reminded me of one other thing I wanted to predict, is that as the Republican Party is fracturing, the Democrats, in the name of unity, are going to bring in as many Republicans as they can, while the fringe Republicans go even farther to the right. And bringing all the Republicans into the Democratic Party is going to drag them even further right. So we're going to end up with a Republican Party and a white supremacist party, is my prediction.
The only thing I would say to counter that is I'm already seeing, like David Frum came out with an article today, and a few of the other like never Trump Republicans are coming out against immigration. They're coming out with the opinions they've always had, but they've been pretending they didn't care about for the last few years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they're trying to do it as I'm just giving some good advice to Joe Biden. So the Democrats just have to ignore these people and not let them in to the party as advisors and stick by, like, he's against immigration reform, right? So that's his big thing. And the Democrats are going to push for it, for legalizing, like the DACA program and natural, bring in people who live here. So if they do that, that will expel people like David Frum and the Lincoln Project type people, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's my optimistic. That's my hope.
Well,
then they can just go back and try to reclaim their party and become never Bideners.
We'll see. I feel like Biden's whole thing is committed to healing the nation.
Yeah,
by capitulating to Republicans. So.
And the people that helped him are going to help him do that are the people that stormed the Capitol, because it gives him even more of a opening to reach across the aisle.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Cool country. Love living here. Love it. Yeah. Well, I guess we are leaving a little bit of space at the end of this episode,
yeah,
in case we need to record an emergency pod on Tuesday night.
If they bring out the gallows for Mike Pence, we're gonna have to.
I think it's gonna be a real weird week. I don't know. Like, I obviously can't tell the future. I don't know that we're going to see any extreme violence. I think there's a chance that we will. I think more than likely, more than anything we're going to see is just a bunch of people making gigantic asses of themselves. I'm not narrowing that down to one party or one candidate. I think there's an opportunity for everyone to really just fuck it up this week. So I'm excited to see what happens.
I'm excited to take part in making an ass of myself this week.
I'm ready. I'm ready to post, and I'm ready to be online through it. Just steer into the skid.
Why even? I guess just to project normalcy, but why even do an inauguration in the traditional way? I mean, it's not traditional, but with COVID and with everything else, with needing all this National Guard protection, why not just get sworn in, do a speech from the Oval Office, and be done with it?
Yeah, because no one gives a shit. And they're having like a days-long party with a bunch of pop stars that no one gives a shit about. Like, who is tuning in?
You don't give a shit about Fall Out Boy?
Who's tuning in to watch? Oh, I gotta watch Justin Timberlake's inauguration performance.
I mean, there are people that are absolutely going to tune in for that. You're showing how out of touch with the American people you are. These are the people that cheered on that Masked. They watched the Masked Singer.
Oh my God!
They were loving that clip
with Elizabeth.
I died that day.
Oh my God!
That killed me. Actually, you're speaking to my spirit right now.
I mean, that's who should be playing the inauguration, not her necessarily, but the Masked Singer. And then it turns out that it's, I don't know, who would be the most absurd person to pop at O.J. Simpson? I don't know.
Gonna be a long week, y'all. Gonna be a long week.
Sick country. Everybody, drink a glass of water. Get some gummy bears. You deserve them.
Can you believe I lost to that fucking guy? That fucking horse.
Fucking horse.
Yeah.
I wish that he had tweeted that before he got kicked off.
Right. Let him back on just to tweet that.
Well, I think we've got the show.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We kept it a little short this week because, we didn't know what was going to go on. We're in kind of a rapid news cycle, and it's weird recording a podcast on Sunday and then having all your takes totally curdled by Wednesday whenever the podcast drops. So, nothing extremely alarming has happened. There have been a number of National Guardsmen that were about a dozen, as far as I've seen, that were pulled out of the inauguration duty. Ties to militia groups or extremists. There's not a whole lot of details on that. Nothing has happened. It's Tuesday night. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? I don't know. Doesn't matter much. Something wild or bad happens. We'll probably be in your ears Thursday too, but I don't know. I'm just holding on to my butts. I don't honestly think. Well, I don't know. What the fuck is the point in making any predictions now? It's a fool's game. It's a terrible time, or maybe a great one, to be making bets on anything. Anyway, I don't know why I'm rambling on so much here. Just anxious. It's anxious. A lot of anxious energy all winter long so far, and I don't know. I don't know when it'll let up. We passed 400,000 deaths today, the last day of Trump in office. It is the end of an era, which is kind of it was abrupt. I feel like George H.W. Bush was the only president in my lifetime to only serve one term, and I was a little, kid during all that, so I don't even remember that. I don't know. What will the Biden years bring? I guess we have nothing to do but find out, right? I think just it would be very easy to rest on your laurels now after 4 hard years of just constant pummeling with bad news and just outrageous acts and vulgarities. Things are going to be reported different. Things are going to be talked about different. But a lot of shit's just going to stay the same. And so I just urge y'all and myself, let's just stay frosty, right? Stay frosty. Let's keep our heads on a swivel. Let's not grow complacent or complicit any more than we already are in this awful empire. Let's try to make that better world tomorrow a reality. And to do that, we can't rest on our laurels and trust anybody else to do it for us. We gotta put in the work. That's all I got. I don't know. He said, I'm anxious. If you'd like to support the show, there's a number of ways you can do that. It'd be awesome if you told a friend, post about it online, whatever. If you want to support us materially and help us keep doing this and play out some of our big dreams of wild things we want to do, you can join the Patreon over at patreon.com/hootnhollerpod. We have a number of tiers available there. We have weekly bonus content, but you can jump on board for just $1 a month, which gets you the one big bonus episode every month. Last month we did 2 hours on Ray Stevens' wild, misogynistic, perverted, racist discography that a lot of people express familiarity with from riding in their Meemaws Grand Caravans. And this week we've got well, I don't know, I'm not done with it yet. It's a darker subject matter. Joshua sits down with a couple of friends who have more or less lost their parents to QAnon, and they navigate that together. So it's going to be a real interesting listen. That's coming your way. Again, just $1 a month. You can find us on all of our social media, etc. at hootnhollerpod. If you want to get a hold of us, I'm at hootnhollerpod@gmail.com. I don't know. No. I couldn't pick a song this week because the stuff I got queued up was a little too hopeful or beautiful, and I don't know. So the credits will be in the show notes. I'm going to plop one of the Max Hunter songs on the end here probably, I guess. That's it. Thanks for coming through. Talk to you. Well, hopefully we'll talk to you next week. Hopefully we don't have to talk to you tomorrow. We'll see. Godspeed and stay safe, comrades.
I am a poor wayfaring pilgrim, while traveling through this world below. There is no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright world to which I go. I'm going there to meet my Father. I'm going there no more to roam. I'm just going over Jordan. I am just going over home. I know dark clouds will gather over me. I know my pathway's rough and steep, but golden fields lie out before me, where weary eyes no more shall weep. I'm going there to see my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm just going over Jordan. am just going over home. I want to sing salvation story. I in concert with the blood-washed band. I want to wear a crown of glory when I get home to that good land. I'm going there to see my classmates who passed before me one by one. I'm just going over Jordan. I am just going over home. I'll soon be free from every trial. This form will rest beneath the sod. I'll drop the cross of self-denial and enter in my home with God. I'm going there to see my Savior, who shed for me his precious blood. I'm just going over Jordan. I am just going